Sebas Chen. Sebas is the head butler of the Great Tomb of Nazarick, and he runs several manservants and other butlers under his command. He was created by Touch Me, and also leads the Pleiades Six Stars. Now, even though he's not a floor guardian, Sebas' strength is absolutely on their level. And unlike them, he's outside their chain of command. Back in the old days of Yggdrasil, Sebas and the Pleiades acted as Nazarick's final line of defense on the 9th floor. Their job was to hold off the invaders long enough for the guild, Ainz Ooal Gown, to prepare for the last stand in the throne room, and to make that entrance as the ultimate villains. Sebas is an unarmed combat specialist and one of Nazarick's 4 strongest fighters, alongside Cocytus, Albedo, and Rubedo. In his dragonoid form, he can overpower even Cocytus and Albedo, and Ainz himself says Sebas could sweep away anyone in direct combat. When it comes to power scaling, it's a strange rock-paper-scissors situation. Cocytus beats Albedo, Albedo beats Sebas, and Sebas beats Cocytus. His sheer physical strength makes New World humans feel like paper in his grasp. So much so that some speculate he might be a retired Animantite adventurer. On top of that, Sebas can use Ki to heal wounds, knock someone unconscious, or even force obedience. His fear aura is so effective that Klein would have died from it if not for his obsessive devotion to Princess Rainier. Yes, that yandere princess. Just like his creator Touch Me, Sebas has a strong sense of justice. He doesn't see all humans as weak or worthless, believing instead that the strong should protect the weak. That doesn't mean he's merciful though. He'll still wipe the floor with anyone who threatens Nazarick. But compared to most of Nazarick's residents, he's far less hostile toward outsiders. This worldview puts him at odds with Demiurge, and the two just do not get along. Sebas himself says it feels like an instinct left behind by his creator. According to author Maruyama, that's actually true. Because Touch Me never gave Sebas a detailed personality setting, his morals ended up shaping almost entirely by him. One of those ideals is a love for hero stories. In fact, during a meeting with the Floor Guardians, Sebas suggested spreading a myth to human society about Ainz as a hero who descends to restore order from chaos. Sebas also questions Nazarick's usual philosophy, that everything outside is inferior and deserves to be crushed. Instead, he follows Touch Me's belief that those who ignore the weak can't truly call themselves strong. But over time, especially after running into dirt people like Zack from the Death Spreading Brigade, Sebas starts to think Nazarick's view might not be entirely wrong. When Ainz acted as an adventurer, Sebas and Solution Epsilon disguised themselves as wealthy humans to gather intel. Because Sebas looks human, Ainz chose him for reconnaissance. Sebas played the part of an old butler, while Solution acted as a spoiled noble. Their orders were to capture human criminals who knew martial arts or magic. They stayed at the Shining Golden Pavilion, under a backstory that they were from somewhere in the Baharuth Empire. On that mission, Sebas made sure Solution didn't quote-unquote play with any humans unless they attacked first. That's just who he is. While they worked, he gathered every scrap of information he could find, from major events to simple street gossip, and sent detailed reports back to Nazarick. In the end, Sebas handled most of the intelligence work. It was largely because of Sebas that Ainz ended up saving Karn Village. Back in Season 1, Sebas actually scolded Ainz for going out without guards, then stood beside him as he used the mirror of remote viewing. Seeing Sebas' reaction to the village massacre, Ainz felt compelled to act. Ainz immediately ordered Sebas to put Nazarick on maximum alert, arm Albedo for battle, and prepare support units to deploy to the village. At one point, Klein even asked Sebas to teach him his techniques. Sebas, however, passed that responsibility to Brain Unglaus instead. After rescuing Toare, Sebas had Solution heal her wounds and told her not to report the matter to Ainz. He made sure Toare was fed, cared for, and reassured that she was safe, eventually even considering making her a maid. Solution, on the other hand, was far from pleased. She couldn't understand why Sebas would bring a human girl back to their base. To her, it was reckless, maybe even betrayal. At the very least, she saw it as a dangerous distraction that could endanger their mission. Eventually, word of Toare reached Ainz. Sebas was summoned. Demiurge ordered him to stand in Cocytus' attack range. Ainz put Sebas on trial for hiding Toare and told him to kill her to prove loyalty. Sebas hesitated, but prepared to follow the order. Before he could strike, Cocytus blocked him, declaring that Sebas had already proven himself. In Volume 7, Ainz personally thanked Sebas and Solution for their intelligence work and offered them a reward. Sebas asked for clothes and supplies for Toare, and even accepted Ainz' suggestion to take her to the royal capital to shop, something that sounded a lot like a date. By Volume 11, Sebas was stationed in Rantel, handling administrative work with Toare as his assistant. She had grown attached to him, and while Sebas would blush when teased about her, he remained strict with her maid training. In the Pleiades Day arc, he pushed her hard to prepare her for leading the human maids in Rantel. Worried that any mistake might embarrass Ainz, Inspired by Ainz's example, Sebas wanted Toare to meet the same high standard. But after some advice from Yuri, he finally allowed her to rest and arranged for Eclair to teach her cleaning skills. But after Ainz tested Sebas' loyalty, the Pleiades Six Stars under his command were reorganized into the Pleiades Seven Sisters, with Yuri Alpha taking over as the deputy leader. Yuri Alpha. Yuri Alpha is the vice captain of the Pleiades Six Stars. She was created by the supreme being Yamaiko and is known among the maids as the Big Sister. Now, they may call each other sisters, but they're not related by blood. They were just programmed to act that way. Since the supreme beings had made Yuri the eldest of the sisters, Yuri had an obligation to play this role out of both loyalty and gratitude for her creator. However, because she shares some traits with Yamaiko, she can be a bit of a muscle brain, something even Ainz has noticed. When it comes to fighting, Yuri is all about close combat. Compared to Entoma, who is the same level as her, Yuri's moves are way more focused on hitting hard and dealing with straight-up physical damage. During her fight with Evil Eye, she showed she could use Fa Jin, a Chinese martial arts technique to break through Evil Eye's crystal wall. What's more, she can also use Qi Gong to heal herself or her allies. Yuri is actually a Dullahan. She wears black lensless glasses and a blue collar around her neck, probably to keep her head attached. Her karma value shows she's good-hearted. She's one of only 2 Pleiades who are quote-unquote safe for humans. So when Ainz told her not to kill without a good reason, she was relieved. And if given the choice, she'd rather help those in need. Because of her connection to Yamaiko, Yuri has a strict, teacher-like personality. She's a total workaholic and starts getting restless if she has free time with nothing to do. Still, as an undead, she can be cold and calculating. Even so, her alignment and her creator's influence allow her short emotional bursts. Like Ainz, she quickly suppresses them. A perfect example of Yuri's strict side comes during the monthly Pleiades report and tea party. As deputy leader, she formally opens the meeting, instructs Entoma to prepare tea and snacks, and steps in when her sisters start gossiping about Narberal being close to Ainz. She then reports her own activities, like co-running the first Great Tomb of Nazarick, Love Ainz-sama Guardian Special Grand Auction with Shizu. And when Entoma accidentally spills blood into Shizu's drink and is told to drink it as punishment, Yuri agrees, saying that it's bad to waste food. At one point, she also takes part in Demiurge's plan to make Momon a lasting hero in the Riestes kingdom. In that, she plays Jalda Bayoth's masked underling alongside Shizu, fighting Evil Eye until Jalda Bayoth calls for a retreat. Some parts of it were mentioned in the Sebas section earlier, but in the Pleiades Day bonus story, Yuri trains Toare to be head maid in Rantel. After the lesson, she has free time but doesn't know what to do. So she goes back to her room and finds Lupusregina and Narberal slacking off. She starts scolding them, but then Ainz calls her over to talk about a problem with Solution. Once she sorts it out, Ainz tells her to check if the other maids have issues too. She does, then comes back with her report. Ainz approves of her idea of building a new orphanage and even lets her free Pestonia and Nigredo from confinement. Ainz had also already considered having Yuri handle the management of the orphanage. As a Dullahan maid, Yuri could not consume food, but she could prepare it. Her skills were simple and could not produce special effects from special ingredients. But when it came to regular dishes, she could make just about anything. In Volume 13, Chapter 5, Yuri is with Lupusregina when Ainz secretly contacts Jalda Bayoth. She reports that they'll challenge him together with the Evil Lord in a staged duel. Later, Yuri is replaced by a doppelganger so Ainz can fight without holding back, sending anyone straight to the graveyard if needed. As the acting deputy leader of the Pleiades Seven Sisters in Aureole's place, the mysterious Pleiades member who also serves as an area guardian, Yuri is more than capable in battle. She's explicitly described as a vanguard. Yuri can boost her physical power with armament enhancement, since enemies with present search, hit hard with moves like Kibakushu, impact blow, and strike, and toughen up with iron skin. She's also resistant to things like immobilization, blindness, silence, dazzling, and life-draining effects. She's got a fly pendant for mines, spiked gauntlets for brawling, special maid armor that's basically top-grade magical full plate, and glasses that can see through invisibility. The thing is, even though she's technically a level 1 cook, Sebas doesn't count her as one of Nazarick's chefs. She's also seen with Ainz and Albedo in the treasury when they met fake Tabula Smardina, who in reality is just Pandora's actor. Yuri also works alongside Entoma and Shizu to help Narberal with adventurer duties. And in a Volume 8 side story, she visits Lupusregina in Karn Village, thinks she's bonded with the villagers, but realizes she's wrong. Lupusregina Beta. Lupusregina is one of the Pleiades Six Stars, the elite battle maids of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. She was created by Beast King Mekongawa, and she's got a nickname that pretty much says it all, the sadist with the smiling mask. Now you know what to expect. Lupusregina is a werewolf, and she's also a battle cleric. That means she's got strong healing magic on top of solid fighting ability. In fact, she's got the highest overall stats among the Pleiades, with the best physical defense and resistances too. As a lycanthrope, she can transform into a werewolf. She's resistant to most metals, but silver is her weakness since it boosts the damage she takes from it. For instance, a silver weapon would increase the damage done to her by 25 points, while weapons from other metals would do 10 points less damage. Damage was calculated after subtracting her defensive strength. If the result were 0, even silver couldn't hurt her. If the weapon is a simple silver dagger, a light throw wouldn't have done any harm. Unsurprisingly, silver was the metal Lupusregina hated most. Just touching it disgusted her, ironically making it the perfect metal to punish her with. She's also got some handy abilities. She can heal big wounds with all greater heal, patch up wounds with heal and medium cure wounds, cure poison, give regeneration over time, and even fly. Her animal instinct skill lets her sense what her target is thinking, and her complete invisibility spell makes her totally undetectable unless you've got special magic to see her. She can find magically hidden enemies. And in Karn Village, she even used a spell to call down fire from the sky to kill a troll. Her main weapon is a black and silver crozier that looks like an oversized religious staff. And just like the other Pleiades, her maid uniform is basically high-end magical full-plate armor in disguise. Now, personality-wise, she's bright, friendly, and sociable, at least on the surface. She loves to sneak up on people with complete invisibility just to startle them, and Yuri says she can be as cruel as Solution. The author has even said that under a full moon at night, she gets a little meaner. Interestingly, the homunculus maids see her as the friendliest of the Pleiades, even calling her presence a sign of good fortune. But in reality, some people in Karn Village think she's dangerous, and they're not wrong. Lupusregina was one of the busier battle maids. Her job was to defend Karn Village and maintain its security. Among other tasks, her purpose is to observe and remain alert while preventing the leakage of the technologies developed within the village. Speaking of Karn Village, Lupusregina is sent there to spy and protect Enri, Nefre, and Lizzie. She helps build the wall with stone golems, delivers alchemy gear, and tags along when they explore the Great Forest of Tob. But she doesn't help with chores unless it's for the Supreme Beings. Otherwise, she prefers to just laze around. When the village prepares for a possible attack from the Giant of the East and the Demon Snake of the West, she suggests asking Ainz for help, but Enri refuses, saying they should handle things themselves. Later, Ainz hears Enri went to Rantel and scolds Lupusregina for not taking her mission seriously. Afterwards, she speaks with Enri about becoming the new chief. Lupusregina says it doesn't matter who leads because mistakes will happen, unless the leader is one of the Supreme Beings. Even so, she encourages Enri to accept the role. If Enri became chief, Lupusregina would prioritize her safety while also helping protect the village. Later, Lupusregina and Yuri teleport Enri, Nefre, and Nimue to Nazarick so Ainz can reward them for Nefre's new potion. And then there's the brutal side. After Karn Village is attacked, Prince Barbo's remaining army retreats to Katse Plains, only for Lupusregina to appear. She summons 30 level 43 redcap goblins, orders them to mess with everyone, and personally plays with the prince for half an hour before he passes away. Narberal Gamma. Narberal is a doppelganger battle maid from the Pleiades Six Stars. She was created by Nishi Kinrai, one of the original 9 founders of Ainz Ooal Gown. You see, most people in the New World know her better as Nabe, the magic caster adventurer who partners with Momon. As an adamantite-ranked adventurer, she's already one of the strongest in the entire Sorcerer Kingdom. According to Flutter, she's so powerful that she could already use 8th tier magic at maximum. The thing is, Narberal is the second highest leveled member of the Pleiades. She's an arcane magic caster, specializing in air elemental magic, which greatly boosts the power of her air spells, but also makes her other magic slightly weaker. Her job levels allow her to use weapons and armor, but her skill as a warrior is only average. Outside of her quirky bunny magic, almost all her spells are built for combat. Speaking of spells, her kit is loaded. Passively, she's got dark vision. Like Ainz, it is hardly an obstacle for her to see through the dark. She can pull off moves like Dragon Lightning, a 5th tier spell shooting a writhing dragon of lightning from her finger, and its stronger cousin, Chain Dragon Lightning, which can zap multiple enemies. She's got Dimensional Move for escape, Electrosphere for massive lightning orbs, Fly for mobility, and Invisibility for stealth. On top of that, she can cast things like Thunder Lance, Lightning Blast, Rabbit Ears, and even Bunny Tail, which literally lowers aggression towards her. If she stacks Rabbit Ears, Rabbit Foot, and Bunny Tail, her outfit turns into a bunny girl costume. With these specs, I'm pretty sure Nishi Kinrai has definitely dreamed of Bunny Girl Senpai. Jokes aside, Narberal possesses the Coronis MK3 weapon, a ring of sustenance which grants her vitality. a magical warhorse statue that lets her summon a mount during quests, and, of course, the maid armor with a quick change crystal for instant gear swaps. In the web novel, this armor is insanely fortified with multiple layers of rare magical metals and high-grade enchantments. Narberal only respects one human, her sister, Aureole. She sees the rest as low-class creatures. She doesn't like killing humans, but if there's no reason to spare them or Ainz orders it, she won't hesitate. That's why she, along with Solution, is considered extremely dangerous among the Pleiades. She's extremely loyal to Ainz and proud to serve him closely, but she doesn't really understand why he wants to play the hero. Even when he tells her not to, she sometimes slips and calls him Ainz-sama, while they're disguised as adventurers, and she struggles to call him Momon-san. According to Lupusregina, when Narberal's out with Ainz, she's constantly ready to blast anyone who disrespects him. Narberal serves as Ainz's security. When accompanying him outside, she makes sure he never witnesses anyone being rude to him. If someone does, she must quickly decide whether to blast them on the spot, all while staying focused and alert for any potential enemies. Among the Pleiades sisters, the Supreme Beings had designated Yuri as the eldest sister, and Lupusregina as the second oldest. However, it was less clear when it came to the others. For example, Solution and Narberal were both treated as the third oldest. If they were designed as twins like Aura and Mare, then that would be the end of it. However, that was not the case. Perhaps Solution and Narberal really were twins, since the two of them interpreted that to be as close and caring as twins. Thus, they became a pair of siblings who disregarded seniority. Narberal's human form is gained through her doppelganger's transformation skill. However, because of her low racial level, she can only transform into one form. Her original appearance as a doppelganger is similar to Pandora's actor, and she has 3 long fingers on each hand that she hides with her gloves, which she has shown to Hamsky at one point. CZ2128 Delta, also known as CZ or Shizu. She's an automaton created by one of the Supreme Beings, Garnet. Being an automaton means she's not exactly expressive. She's got this calm, emotionless presence, almost silent, and unlike most of her sisters, she actually has a high karma. That makes her, alongside Yuri, one of the 2 Pleiades who are considered relatively safe for humans to be around. Now, for her mechanical composure, she has this one big weakness: cute things. Whether it's Eclair or some small creature, if she thinks it's adorable, she'll hug it and refuse to let go until someone with authority steps in. In fact, Garnet once gave her a 1 yen sticker, and she still keeps it on her. Her fondness for cute things can get really intense, like that time Eclair kept avoiding her. So, she went to the 6th floor to hug Aura's magical beasts instead. Naturally, she got scolded afterwards. The thing is, Garnet didn't just make her cute obsessed. He built her with deep knowledge of Nazarick's security mechanisms, especially in the Treasury. Since Garnet co-designed those systems with Tabula Smaragdina, he wrote her backstory so she could bypass locks and defenses if needed. She even calls him the Professor and speaks of him fondly. When she's in combat, Shizu specializes in firearms and long-range attacks, which makes her perfect for sustained battles. Even within Nazarick, she's unusually popular. You see, the homunculus maids think of the Pleiades members as an idol group. Among them, Shizu might be the most adorable and popular. They actually compete to sit next to Shizu, and some even want to be her hug pillow. When Shizu works alongside Yuri, like during the first Great Tomb of Nazarick Love Ainz-sama Guardian Special Grand Auction, yes, that's a real name, she handles requests from the floor guardians, reacts with a rare "ooh-ah" at some of the stranger ones, and isn't afraid to call the auction name terrible. She can also get prickly, like the time she punished Entoma for spilling in her drink by making her drink it instead. She and Entoma also have this ongoing who's the younger sister rivalry that can erupt into fights. During Demiurge's plan to make Momon a hero, Shizu acts as one of Jaldabaoth's masked underlings alongside Yuri Alpha. She later appears with the other Pleiades, except Narberal, during a surface encounter against Dragon Hunt to help intercept their escape. Ainz once tested his control amnesia spell on her with no lasting effects. In Volume 13, either she or her doppelmaid participates in a mock battle against Ainz. Aureole enhanced her combat power, and she hid in a building to shoot magic bullets at Ainz to interrupt his spells. After Ainz's staged defeat, Shizu appears in the Holy Kingdom's Liberation base under Ainz's control, is chained under house arrest, and is assigned by Prince Gaspon to work with Nia on rescuing the Zern Prince BBC. Together, they infiltrate the demi-human-controlled city of Kalinsha to rescue the Zern Prince. After defeating powerful Va'un guards, they lead the prince to safety, convince him to ally with the Sorcerer Kingdom, and even help defeat one of Jaldabaoth's commanders. By the end of the campaign, Shizu and Nia were celebrated as heroes, and she continued to support Nia's efforts to form the Sorcerer King's rescue team. She stayed at her side through the final battle in Prart, protecting her until Ainz himself ended Jaldabaoth. When it was all over, she returned to Nazarick with Ainz, admitting that she and Nia had become friends. Solution Epsilon. Solution is a predator slime battle maid and member of the Pleiades Six Stars. She was created by Hero. As a slime, Solution was adept at dealing with physical attacks, and she possessed an especially strong resistance to piercing or slashing attacks. However, hits from blunt weapons could hurt her. Here's the thing. Like most NPCs in Nazarick, she doesn't see humans as people. To her, they're just food and playthings. She prefers to enjoy their suffering, and she's not shy about it. One of her favorite tricks is to lure men in, then absorb them the moment they touch her. She and Narberal Gamma are two of the Pleiades members you really don't want to run into if you're human. When she's undercover, Solution plays the role of a spoiled noblewoman from the Baharuth Empire, with Sebas acting as her butler. Her body's basically hollow, so she can store things inside, protect them, or dissolve them at will. She can even control how fast her digestion works. For someone with no fixed form like Solution, escaping should have been as easy as pie. Incidentally, Solution's eyeballs were also fake, so meeting her gaze was meaningless. After all, she doesn't use vision to perceive others. On top of that, she can turn parts of her body into whip-like slime arms that reach up to 2 meters, moving so fast they can slice enemies before they even realize it. She can also turn her fingers into syringe-like tubes to inject her own custom poisons. One that puts targets to sleep, and another that relaxes their muscles. Plus, she can melt into shadows for stealth attacks. As a rogue-class assassin and poison maker, she's great at detecting traps, tracking targets, scouting, and even using scrolls despite class restrictions. During the Pleiades monthly report, she admitted she preferred certain fresh meals and had a taste for live prey. She also got jealous of Narbral's close work with Ainz and asked if they could request some from him. At one point, she played one of Jaldabaoth's underlings to fight Narberal until Jaldabaoth ordered them to retreat. When Ainz later rewarded his servants, Solution requested quote-unquote pure men to play with. Ainz refused to give her pure men, but gave her captured 8 Fingers agents instead. Out of jealousy, she also kidnapped Miyoshi, a sapphire slime used by Ainz for bathing. She says she's not happy that Ainz uses Miyoshi when she's also a slime and she can clean him better. Of course, Ainz won't give her any bathing duties anytime soon. Entoma Vasilisa Zeta. Entoma is an arachnid battle maid of the Pleiades Six Stars. Created by Ginjiro, one of the supreme beings. She's a spirit-based magic caster who fights using insects and talismans. She's also a support unit who can boost magic effects and aid her sisters in battle. Even so, her stats are well-rounded enough to hold her own in direct combat. When it comes to fighting, she can mix close-range attacks, ranged bug summons, magical strikes, and talisman-based buffs. The drawback is that summoning her strongest bugs takes time. Her insect weapons can act on their own, but if an enemy resists the spell, the insect itself has to resist too, not Entoma. That's a weakness enemies can take advantage of. She's got a whole set of bugs as well. For example, bullet bugs for rapid fire, blade bugs that work like swords and boomerangs, hard armor bugs for defense, 1,000 lash bugs with giant centipedes with blade-like teeth, and even lip bugs that steal others' voices. At one point, the original lip bug died in her fight with Evil Eye, so she replaced it with one that ate Archie's voice. In case you don't remember, Archie is that magic caster from the group of Foresight. On top of that, Entoma has natural arachnoid abilities, such as shooting webs, slashing webs sharp enough to cut magic barriers, and her trump card, the Breath of Fly, where she sends a swarm of flesh-eating flies that lay eggs in victims. The eggs will then quickly hatch and eat the target's flesh before doing the same to the next victim. She can only use it 3 times a day. Her compound eyes gives her a huge field of vision, and her antennae can detect air movement. What's more, Entoma uses mask bugs to hide her real face. It displays no emotion, so there was no way to tell what she was thinking through the little changes in her expressions. When communicating with her sisters, Entoma had to use her body language to express what she meant, for instance, by shrugging or tilting her head. Entoma harbors grudges against anyone who damages her clothes or steals her voice, which is why she despises Evil Eye and hopes to send her to the graveyard someday. In Demiurge's Momon the Hero plan, she fought alongside Lupusregina and Solution as one of Jaldabaoth's underlings. She was also jealous that her sister got orders directly from Ainz while she didn't. When asked what reward she wanted for her work, she requested and got permission to eliminate Evil Eye if she ever crossed their path again. Later, during Pleiades Day, Yuri asked her if she was dissatisfied with anything in Nazarick. You see, after Ainz learned that Entoma is despairing over the fact that Miyoshi is a better bathing slime than her, Ainz starts to wonder if the other Pleiades maids are dissatisfied with something too. At first, Entoma said she's not unhappy because she gets to eat delicious food. But when pressed, she admitted she'd like a place to weave her webs, ideally in the log cabin. Which sounds scary given that her hobby, aside from enjoying good food, is weaving webs as traps for visitors. Since she can't spend all her time eating, she'd like to weave webs to help catch them. There were several large spider webs in Nazarick. For example, in the 3rd and 6th floors. Entoma would go to those places, and apparently, one of those webs had been personally made by Genjiro. Yuri had thought of them as something like a private home for Entoma, but that would not seem to be the case. Aureole Omega. Aureole is the area guardian of the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary on the 8th floor of Nazarick. She is also the leader of the Pleiades Seven Sisters. On top of that, she manages all the teleportation gates in Nazarick and protects the staff of Ainz Ooal Gown in the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary. Among the Pleiades, Aureole is the only one who belongs to the human race. However, she is also immortal. Even though most of her sisters dislike humans, they still treasure her as a real sister. Aureole looks like a young human girl. She usually wears a Japanese Miko outfit, like a Shinto shrine maiden. Usually, she knows the movements of all the Seven Sisters. During the Pleiades Day arc, Yuri contacted Aureole while looking for Shizu. During that conversation, Yuri describes Aureole as high-spirited, and once imagined her with arms crossed and an adorable smile. Her voice is described as calm and gentle. Yuri even calls her Ao-chan. When Ainz changed the Pleiades from the Six Stars to the Seven Sisters, he did not let Aureole leave her post. Because of that, Yuri became the deputy leader. Specifically, Ainz says they will not, quote-unquote, move her from that place. When Nefre, Enri, and Nimue visited Nazarick, they were teleported to the 9th floor. During the transition, Enri briefly saw Aureole. In Volume 13, Albedo ordered Aureole to buff 5 greater doppelgangers, who were disguised as her sisters. Since she could not leave the 8th floor without Ainz's permission, she must have buffed them before they left. Ainz didn't expect her to play a big role in the battle, but he noticed the Doppel Pleiades were far stronger than normal. That's when he realized Aureole was the one behind their buffs. Aureole was the last-born of the Pleiades Seven Sisters. She is a level 100 NPC specialized in commander-type classes. As a commander, she could issue orders which buffed her allies. In Volume 13, Shizu must have been able to beat their level difference thanks to that. While Ainz had no idea what kind of special ability Aureole had used, if one looked at party roles such as physical attacker, magical attacker, healer, and so on, then she would be considered a wild card. Basically, she's an all-rounder. On top of that, Ainz never actually went head-to-head with his opponents during PvP back in his Yggdrasil days, so Ainz had little experience in dealing with commander-type opponents. Aureole also controls the teleportation gates in Nazarick. Her active ability is Gate, the highest tier of teleportation magic. It creates a portal that can transport large groups over great distances. If intruders try to use them, she can send them to an isolation area of her choice. She commands servants like Uka no Mitamus and Otoshis, who protects her domain. The Uka no Mitama is a level 85 monster that was adept in the use of mental-type magic. She had 2 forms. One is a short-haired girl in a fox mask, and another is a bestial form which sacrificed the ability to use all magic in exchange for a tremendous boost in her physical combat ability. Utoshi, on the other hand, is a young man who wore a sun motif mask within the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary. When Ainz graced her with his presence, Aureole received permission to send up to 2 of her servants outside the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary at any one time. Aureole is currently on the 8th floor, and most could not go there directly. Even the ring of Ainz Ooal Gown would not be able to travel directly to the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary. Instead, it would teleport one some distance away from it. But with their servants as shields, Aureole ought to have enough time to flee to the 9th floor if anything dangerous happens. Aureole is also the original owner of the world item on the 8th floor, which was later given to Shalltear. And that's every battle maid of the Pleiades. Which Pleiades maid do you think could solo an entire Riastes army? Drop your pick in the comments. And if you want more from Nazarick, click here before you get teleported out of the Great Tomb.